My photo taste is the Pinterest because they are the best.
The
English we speak.
From bbclearningenglish.com. Welcome to the English We Speak. I'm Feifei.
And I'm Neil.
And Neil, this might be the last ever time we see each other. All ready for your new job at, where was it again?
A sweet factory.
Quite a big change from radio production.
Yeah, well, they pay very well, and I love sweets. I'll just suck it and see.
Suck the sweets?
No, you know what I mean.
Yes, just kidding. The phrase suck it and see is used when you do something new and you're not sure whether you will like it or not, like a new job.
Here are some examples.
I'm really not confident riding a bike in the centre of town, but all my friends do it, so I guess I'll just suck it and see.
I decided to dye my hair blonde, but I'm still not sure about it. I'll suck it and see. I can always dye it black again.
Well, you'll be pleased to hear Neil isn't really leaving.
I realised I can explore my passion for sweets without actually working in a sweet factory. In fact, I have some right here.
Ooh, lovely, very bright colours. Mind if I...
Oh, please try one.
What flavours are they?
I've got no idea. You'll just have to...
Suck it and see.
As Feifei's busy, I'll say goodbye for both of us. Goodbye.
The English we speak.
Hello and welcome to News Review, the programme where we show you how to use the language from the latest news stories in your everyday English. Hi, I'm Neil. Joining me is Catherine. Hi, Catherine.
Hi, Neil.
So what is our story today?
Today's story, Neil, is about a potential disaster that people are working very hard to avoid.
Okay, well, it sounds very serious. Let's hear some more from this BBC News report.
Thousands of people living below the tallest dam in the United States have been ordered to leave their homes because a damaged overflow channel or spillway is in danger of collapse. Engineers have been releasing water from the Oroville Dam in California and are using helicopters to drop rocks onto the site.
So, a story from America there, and there is a massive dam. Now, a dam is a barrier which is made by people to hold a large amount of water in one place, usually either on a river or a lake or a reservoir. Now, this dam in California looks like it's going to break. This will cause a huge amount of water, and all the people who are living in the path of this water have been asked to leave their homes while they try to fix the damage.
Okay, well, you've been looking at this story online, the various news websites, and picking out the vocabulary that you need to talk about this story. And what have you come up with?
We've got three really useful expressions. The first one is evacuate. Second is overflow. And we have an expression, race against the clock.
Okay, evacuate, overflow, and race against the clock. So how are these appearing in the headlines?
Okay, well, let's go to BBC News first, and the headline here is Oroville Dam Risk. Thousands ordered to evacuate homes.
Okay, so evacuate, meaning leave a place because of danger.
Exactly that, yes. And in this case, the people have to evacuate their homes because of the problem of the water that may come from the dam and kill everybody, basically.
Yeah.
So they evacuate homes.
Yes, but it's an interesting word, isn't it? Because who's doing the evacuating and what's evacuating can be confusing.
Absolutely. So in this case, in our headline here, it says evacuate homes. The place that you're leaving becomes the object of the verb evacuate, but you can also evacuate people. So we could say, the headline could say, California authorities evacuate people from their homes. Yeah.
Yes.
There's two ways you can work this verb.
So it, as a verb there, as you say, it's also a noun, the noun being evacuation.
Yes, and the evacuation is happening right now in California as we speak.
Yes, and the people?
Evacuees.
They are evacuees, which is not the same as a refugee.
No, it's a slightly different. There's a similar idea of people leaving, but evacuees generally go because of a specific danger. It's usually for a short time. When the danger's passed, they return to their homes.
Yeah, it's temporary, isn't it?
Refugees is to do with war. It's often for a longer time. time, and it's a specific situation of war in particular, yeah.
Yeah. Now, this word evacuated is also interesting because it's neither formal nor informal, is it?
No, you can use it in any situation. In fact, if you try to think of a synonym for evacuee or evacuate, there probably isn't one. It's leaving a place because of danger. If the fire alarm goes now, we will evacuate the studio.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
There's not like a less formal phrasal verb or something like there often is in English.
No. I think evacuate is a specific for this particular situation. Leave a place because of danger. It quickly is evacuate.
Have you ever been evacuated?
No, I haven't, Neil. But have you?
I have been
you really?
evacuated when I was a small boy.
Right.
In the 1970s, if you can believe that. I lived in Canada, and there was a rail accident. A train carrying dangerous chemicals derailed, and in the middle of the night, I believe, a family had to come to us. They were evacuated. And,
to your house?
My house,
right?
to move
Strangers.
further away from where the accident happened. And then we were called and told to move as well. So then we were evacuated.
Wow, so a mass evacuation.
There was an evacuation.
Sounds really exciting.
It was for a small boy.
Yes.
Shall we move on to our next headline?
Okay, so looking at CBN News, we have California evacuates residents as flooded dam threatens to overflow.
To overflow.
Yep.
That means, that's a situation where there's more water than can be contained.
Exactly that, yes. And it comes from the word over. Often when we put it in front of another word, it means too much of something. So, overflow means to spill because there's too much, and in this case the dam is going to overflow, so everyone's had to leave. It can be a verb and it can be a noun, and the pronunciation changes slightly, so let's do it as a verb first, Neil.
To overflow.
Very good. Stress on the
the final syllable.
And when it's a noun,
overflow.
with the stress on the
First syllable.
Very good, Neil, very good.
Yes.
And overflow, the overflow in your bathroom, you know, you got your sink in your bathroom or your kitchen or your bath, and there's a hole near the top of the bathroom sink.
Yeah.
That's called an overflow, and if it gets too full of water, it'll travel down that emergency evacuation pipe.
Yes.
It's called an overflow.
And it's there to prevent overflowing.
It is actually, yes, interestingly, yes.
Okay, we also use this word in a non-literal sense.
We can do, yes.
It's a special day today, isn't it?
Valentine's Day. Neil, are you overflowing with love and affection?
I am, which explains why this studio is glowing red.
So an emotional word. You can overflow with any emotion. You can be anger, you can be happiness, you can overflow with pride at someone's achievement. But it means when you've got a lot of emotion, you're really feeling it.
Let's move on to our final headline.
Yep, and now we are looking at the Independent. Oroville Dam, water officials race against the clock to prevent disaster as heavy rain approaches.
So racing.
My photo taste is the Pinterest because they are the best. Flick to link, a link to flick.
This story starts with these two, my kids. We were hiking in the Oakland woods when my daughter noticed a plastic tub of cat litter in a creek. She looked at me and said, "Daddy, that doesn't go there." And when she said that, it reminded me of summer camp. On the morning of visiting day, right before they let our anxious parents come barreling through the gates, our camp director would say, "Quick, everyone go pick up 5 pieces of litter." You get a couple hundred kids, each picking up 5 pieces, and pretty soon you've got a much cleaner camp. So I thought, why not apply that crowdsourced cleanup model to the entire planet? And that was the inspiration for Literati. The vision is to create a litter-free world. Let me show you how it started. I took a picture of a cigarette using Instagram. Then I took another photo, and another photo, and another photo, and I noticed 2 things. One, litter became artistic and approachable. And two, at the end of a few days, I had 50 photos on my phone, and I had picked up each piece, and I realized that I was keeping a record of the positive impact I was having on the planet. That's 50 less things that you might see, or you might step on, or some bird might eat. So I started telling people what I was doing, and they started participating. And one day, this photo showed up from China. And that's when I realized that literati was more than just pretty pictures. We were becoming a community that was collecting data. Each photo tells a story. It tells us who picked up what. A geotag tells us where. And a timestamp tells us when. So, I built a Google map and started plotting the points where pieces were being picked up. And through that process, the community grew. And the data grew. My two kids go to school right in that bullseye. Litter. It's blending into the background of our lives, but what if we brought it to the forefront? What if we understood exactly what was on our streets, our sidewalks, and our schoolyards? How might we use that data to make a difference? Well, let me show you. The first is with cities. San Francisco wanted to understand what percentage of litter was cigarettes. Why? To create a tax. So they put a couple of people in the streets with pencils and clipboards who walked around collecting information, which led to a 20-cent tax on all cigarette sales. And then they got sued by Big Tobacco, who claimed that collecting information with pencils and clipboards is neither precise nor provable. The city called me and asked if our technology could help. Not sure they realized that our technology was my Instagram account. But I said, yes, we can. And we can tell you if that's a Parliament or a Pall Mall. Plus, every photograph is geotagged and timestamped, providing you with proof. 4 days and 5,000 pieces later, our data was used in court to not only defend, but double the tax, generating an annual recurring revenue of $4 million for San Francisco to clean itself up. Now, during that process, I learned two things. One, Instagram is not the right tool, so we built an app. And two, if you think about it, every city in the world has a unique litter fingerprint. And that fingerprint provides both the source of the problem and the path to the solution. If you could generate a revenue stream just by understanding the percentage of cigarettes, well, what about coffee cups? Or soda cans? Or plastic bottles? And if you could fingerprint San Francisco, well, how about Oakland? Or Amsterdam? Or somewhere much closer to home? And what about brands? How might they use this data to align their environmental and economic interests? There's a block in downtown Oakland that's covered in blight. The literati community got together and picked up 1,500 pieces. And here's what we learned. Most of that litter came from a very well-known taco brand. Most of that brand's litter were their own hot sauce packets. And most of those hot sauce packets hadn't even been opened. The problem and the path to the solution, well, maybe that brand only gives out hot sauce upon request, or installs bulk dispensers, or comes up with more sustainable packaging. How does a brand take an environmental hazard, turn it into an economic engine, and become an industry hero? But you really want to create change? There's no better place to start than with our kids. A group of 5th graders picked up 1,247 pieces of litter just on their schoolyard. And they learned that the most common type of litter were the plastic straw wrappers from their own cafeteria. So these kids went to their principal and asked, why are we still buying straws? And they stopped. And they learned that individually they could each make a difference, but together they created an impact. It doesn't matter if you're a student or a scientist, whether you live in Honolulu or Hanoi, this is a community for everyone. It started because of 2 little kids in the Northern California woods, and today it's spread across the world. And you know how we're getting there? One piece at a time. Thank you.
link to flick.
Download from BBC
My photo taste is the Pinterest because they are the best.
Visit our website.
The English we speak.
From bbclearningenglish.com. Welcome to the English We Speak. I'm Feifei.
And I'm Neil.
And Neil, this might be the last ever time we see each other. All ready for your new job at, where was it again?
A sweet factory.
Quite a big change from radio production.
Yeah, well, they pay very well, and I love sweets.